Hi everyone, and welcome to the Free Range Diva. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about an experience that happened to me when I was shopping on Etsy. This is not a rant against Etsy at all. I actually love shopping there, and if you're someone who, if you don't know, if you're someone who likes handcrafted, custom, one-of-a-kind items, then Etsy is a really great place to find that. And it's a marketplace, and so there are different vendors on it, not unlike if you went to a farmer's market or something. So, and Etsy has certain compliance general rules that vendors are supposed to follow, but there apparently are ways around them. And so I'm going to talk about one particular vendor. And if you want to know who, I'm not going to say in the video, but you can email me at freerangediva@outlook.com and I'll tell you who it is. If their shop is still up, I will also check to see if their shop is still there, because it very well may not be. So one of the things that I have been doing this year is changing my space, my bedroom. I wanted it to be to reflect my personality a little bit more. I wanted it to be someplace that I feel comfortable and safe, and kind of a launching pad that will send me out into the world knowing that I'm coming from a very solid, good, comfortable foundation. I've been making some changes ever since the beginning of the year, but the sort of linchpin of the whole design was going to be the coverlet that I put on my bed. If you follow me on Pinterest, you have probably seen in my interior decorating section all sorts of ideas that I've been mulling around, but basically I wanted a particular print, and I wanted it to be hand embroidered, or at least embroidered, on a white background. And it took me a while to figure out that the print that I was looking for was a Suzani print, and the key for the design is that the print had to have pink in it somewhere, not unlike a very warm, strong pink. Not necessarily dark, medium pink would be fine. So it took weeks of going through different retailers online, looking through everybody on Etsy that I could find, and finally I found a shop that had not only the print that I was looking for and the design that I really, really loved, but there was a substantial amount of pink in the picture of the print. So, you know, I thought about it a little while, and while I was thinking about it, they put it on sale, so I just pulled the trigger and got it. Because there was no description as far as color description in in the shop's page for the coverlet. But the pictures that they put there, you know, there were several photos and they all had pink in them. So I felt pretty confident that even if it wasn't quite, you know, the way it looked in the picture, at least there would be some pink in there somewhere. So I went ahead and ordered it, and the vendor, you know, I got the notification from Etsy that it had shipped right away within minutes of me placing the order. But the vendor did not supply a tracking or shipping information. All that was reflected on my order was a date from Etsy that said, if you hadn't received your order by this date, contact us and we will open a case to find out where it went. So, of course, that date came and went, and so I contacted Etsy and let them know that I hadn't received it. And so they contacted the seller, the vendor, and got no response. And so they told me to contact PayPal. Now, I used PayPal. Normally, I just use, I have a really good Visa card that, you know, is good about stuff like this. But maybe it was my sixth sense, divine intervention, spidey sense or something said, use PayPal this time. So I did. And I contacted PayPal. And the nice thing about PayPal is you can either email them or online chat or call them up. Any way you choose to contact them, they will respond. And so I called them, and they looked at what Etsy had said. They looked at the date, and they're like, well, they need to refund your money if this thing is probably lost. Now, it was coming from India, so I don't know how long that would normally take. But PayPal seemed to think like it should have been here already by that time. So they said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to freeze the funds in his account. That should get his attention. And indeed, within about an hour, I got an email from the vendor saying, here, with the tracking information, and I was able to see that it still was somewhere I don't know. I don't even know. I don't think it was, I think it was in Europe somewhere at that point. But I was given a date of arrival, and actually it did show up 3 days before that date of arrival. So yay for that. I opened it up, and lo and behold, there was not a stitch of pink in this beautifully embroidered textile coverlet. The areas that looked pink in the picture were actually a rust color, which was not going to work at all. Although it works with what we're seeing now, this was going to be for the spring and summer, and I wanted pink. I wanted my color palette was going to be pink and teal. I took pictures. I emailed the vendor and said, because on his site it does say we happily accept returns. Just notify us within 14 days of receiving it. So I notified them that, hey, I need to return this. Do you have anything else that looks like this or is similar to this that has pink in it? Or can I make a custom order with pink in it? And no response for several days. So finally I went back to my original case that I had opened with Etsy, and you can do that. If you're having a problem, you can open what's called a case, and Etsy will investigate and they will determine what action needs to be taken to resolve the case. So I went back to my original one with Etsy and reopened it and explained, gave them pictures, and said that, the vendor says they take returns, but they're not taking returns. There's no description as far as colors on their site. And Etsy investigated, contacted the vendor. Vendor wouldn't talk to them. So finally they said, after I sent them several different pictures in different light, that's what they asked for. So I sent them incandescent, natural light, and flash. And so they said, after looking at the pictures and looking at the site, we have determined that not only do you need to refund her money, but you also need to pay for shipping. Because on his site, he said that shipping is not, is on the event, is on me or the person returning the item. And Etsy said, nope, according to our policy, you're going to have to pay for shipping. And if we don't hear from you within 2 days, we're going to close your site down. So finally, I hear back from him, and what I get back is, now maybe there's some language barrier, but I don't really think so. I think this person was just being resistant. The message that I got back from him was, oh yeah, you're right, the colors don't match, you can return it. Etsy had asked him to provide me with shipping information as far as what shipper he wanted me to use, and that I was to then ship it and then send him a receipt so that he could refund, or he was to give me a shipping label from his chosen shipper, and then I could then just call and have the item picked up, and he would pay for shipping that way. So he had done neither of those in the first email. So Etsy saw it, and message, actually, they don't email, they message you. Etsy saw that message, and they said, hey, what is your, provide her with shipping info. And I even emailed and said, look, do you want me to use DHL, which is what they had sent it? And he said, fine, use DHL. So I go to DHL, I pack the thing up, I call them and arranged, to have it shipped. And right before I was going to pull the invoice, I realized that they hadn't told me how much the shipping cost was going to be. So I went back, I called them up, and I said, I can't find anywhere on here what the shipping charges are. Now, they said on their site that it would be $11 per pound, something like that. And I knew that this coverlet weighed about 2.5 pounds, so I figured it would be about $20, $25. But so glad I called, because they said, well, because you don't have a business account with us, it's going to be $200. Yeah. I was like, no way is this guy going to refund me. Oh, by the way, the item cost $100. So twice the amount of what it cost, to actually buy it. And I knew that if I went ahead and put that on my credit card, that I would not get that money back, at least not in any, timely fashion. So I emailed the guy, I messaged the guy back and said, look, this is what it's going to cost. They said at DHL that I should either use your account number or you should do arrange for shipping yourself, and then just send me a PDF of the packing slip. No response. So Etsy then got in, and they were like, you know what? Contact PayPal. So I contacted PayPal again, and they were wonderful. I mean, PayPal is great. So they were like, okay, we're going to go ahead, because they were already they had never heard back from him on the 1st to confirm that I had even received it. So they said, we're going to, don't worry, you'll get your money back. We're going to take it from here. Don't contact the vendor anymore. They told me that within 10 business days, everything would be resolved, although it might be resolved even sooner. There was on their case online, when I looked up my account, it said, you will hear back from us by February 24th at 8 a.m. local time. And sure enough, I didn't hear anything else until February 24th at 8:01. There was the email from PayPal that said, the vendor has refused to contact us. Here's your money. You can keep the item. And there you have it. That is what good business would have done, that right from the very beginning. And the reason that I went through this whole thing is because A, I like the quality of the comforter, of the coverlet, and B, I have been this year, the life lesson that I learned last year is that whatever, dude, whatever happens, I will be fine. So no need to sweat or stress or whatever, because whatever the outcome, I will be able to deal with it, and that will be that. So I didn't worry about it. I didn't, lose sleep over it. I just figured, hey, if worst comes to worst, I will end up with this coverlet. I can either give it to somebody, use it maybe next fall, or, resell it. So I wasn't really worried, but as it turned out, good business practice, once he realized the cost to return it to him, which probably was more in the $22 range because he did have a business account, I guess he just decided the thing to do at that point would have been to say, just keep it and we'll refund your money. Don't worry about sending it back. But he didn't. And I think the reason that he has on his site, that on his Etsy shop, that we gladly accept returns, just notify us, is that they just simply, once, people realize how much it's going to cost to ship the item back, they don't do it. Because even if I had gone to the U.S. Postal Service, which is what, when I when I messaged him that, hey, it's going to cost $200, do you really want me to go ahead and send it this way? His response was, oh, it's very costly to use DHL. Use the U.S. Postal Service. That's when I, contacted contacted PayPal, and they recognized that they looked at the whole messaging on Etsy, and they realized that, this was not going to work out. They're like, yeah, of course you need to get your refund, and, just let us handle it. So the moral of the story is, I'm not to bash Etsy, because I love several of the vendors that I have found there. Among the flowers I've talked about on this channel, healthy skin I've talked about on this channel. So I have had really good experiences with all the vendors that I have dealt with on Etsy. This was the first one that wasn't so good. If you want to shop on Etsy and you want to be safe when you're shopping on Etsy, I have a couple of tips. Tip number one, send an email or message the seller right off the bat before you place the order, and ask them some, just generic question to see if they respond. If they respond quickly, then you know that you've got a seller that is, serious about their business. Second tip is that if you are buying something like a textile or clothing or something, a makeup item where color, is important, don't rely on the picture. If they don't describe the color in the description of the product, message them and ask, what are the colors in here? And get as much detail as you can. And then thirdly, use PayPal if you can. And the reason I say that is because most of these vendors keep they use their PayPal account like a bank. So they have their cash coming into their PayPal account. So PayPal can just shut down. They can do a lot of things that say maybe at Visa or MasterCard or American Express might not be able to do. And so again, I had such a good experience with them. I hope that I wasn't unique, because I don't really use PayPal that often. But if you do use PayPal and you have some thoughts on it, then let me know in the comments below, because I'm thinking of using them exclusively now instead of the other card that I was using. So I'm going to close out this video with a little vlog that I took to a place called Rolling Greens. They are a plant nursery. It's like a huge sort of nirvana experience for someone who loves particularly indoor houseplants. Because one of the things that I've wanted to do in my bedroom is to fill it with greenery. And I am someone who has killed every plant that she has ever touched. I've been doing a lot of research about what sorts of plants to get for my space and how to take care of them. In fact, here's one that I picked up. This is a Sansevieria that I picked up at Rolling Greens. But yeah, I took my brand new camera and shot some 4K video in there. So I'm going to share that with you right now. And if you don't want to see that, then I thank you so much for watching. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you subscribed, and of course hit the notification bell so you won't miss my next video. And until I see you in my next video, I'm wishing you a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you very soon. And now off to the plant nursery.